Hi, my name is Edgar. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about creative, artistic ideas. We're going to be using Mr. 1000 as our subject matter. I'm going to be using traditional tools, as in pencil, paper, and ink pens. But in part 2 of this video, I'm going to ink the drawing that we're going to make today in Photoshop. So stick around for that. I hope you're having a great day, and let's jump right into it. So, creative, artistic ideas. Where do you go for creative, artistic ideas? Do you go to your sketchbook? Well, in my case, I did go to my sketchbook. But no, actually, this sketch is part of this creative, artistic ideas video. And the one you saw me tap on before, that's the sketch that was based off Koteri Ink. He's on Instagram, go check him out. So where do you go for creative ideas? And what is creative, artistic ideas? I think creative, artistic ideas are, I'm going to end up saying words over and over again. But I think they're just ideas about art you make that goes beyond just being good art into, wow, that is pretty good art kind of a thing. Not necessarily in terms of skill level, but more in terms of the thought process and the ideas that went into it to, create the finished product. Big number one, I'd say, is inspiration. Where do you get inspiration? So personally, there's a few things that I go for inspiration. One is things you see every day as you walk around. So get off your phone, get off your computer, get off YouTube. Take a walk, look around, see what's in your vicinity, what's in your street, what's in your neighborhood, what's even in your house, There are times when you intentionally go looking for inspiration, but I think most of the time inspiration is right there in front of you, and all you have to do is recognize it, like, I can probably do something with this. Second thing, apart from inspiration from walking about, is inspiration from sites such as Pinterest, ArtStation, and so many others that all you young people know that all us old people don't know. My personal favorite is Pinterest. I think I just like it because there's so many things that come on at once. It's not just an art website, so I could be looking at art next to, let's say, graphic design, next to architecture, and all these things just come together and spark my imagination to create things. And then there is movies and series. I love Star Wars. Another thing that recently inspired me very much was Stranger Things. It's the little bits that you see in there. You could just watch it and absorb it, just consume it as a viewer, but you could also look at it to look at the creative input that is in it and see or try to ask yourself, I wonder what these guys were thinking when they were coming up with these creatures or these scenes or this story or these characters, and the stories of these characters. How can I use those as an artist? What can I make? What can I create? It'll be so interesting to see what you think with the movies that you've watched. In the comments, if you can write down like what you've been watching and what it sort of inspired in you, or what is one thing you made after watching a movie or a series, or your favorite movies and series. The other thing I go for, or the other place I go for inspiration, is YouTube. And I go to YouTube in terms of content and the content creators. So there's YouTube channels that I watch because I just love watching them, like woodwork channels. And then there's other YouTube channels I go because of the content and the content creator both inspire me. So like 1000 is an example, right? The person that I'm drawing in this video. I just love his entire artistic ethos, or the way he just runs his art business and his story. And then that inspired me to create a portrait of 1000. But like an artist, you would want to create a portrait in terms of, just to recognize another artist, but I wanted it to be more than just a portrait. I wanted it to be more than just a picture of 1000. After I develop my idea that I want to create a portrait of 1000, I go on and then I add layers. I think to myself, what do I want to put in this portrait? What should I add on top? So I thought of adding the persona of 1000, the character of 1000, the art bit of 1000, right? The creativity of 1000, the things that he does, the things that he likes, the entire theme that is 1000, or the entire character that is 1000. How would you frame all that in a single portrait and tell a long story with just one image? That's what I did in this case. So I did my research. I went and looked at things that I knew would be relevant to him, relevant to this illustration, and how I included those in the illustration. I'm going to talk about them right after this monologue. And then try and do what you are good at first before you go ahead and say you want to imitate a certain style. So if you look at his artwork and you look at the one that I've produced, you can see that this is not exactly 1000, but it is 1000, if you get what I mean. Like, it's a mixture of both. And once you do that, you go past the imposter syndrome that can keep you stuck, keep you on this creative block, and just really hinder your creative, artistic idea capacity. And the last thing I would say, is think outside the box. Once you have thought of an idea and you've executed that idea, or you have thought of an idea and you have jotted down that concept, think of another concept, right? And after you've done that concept, think of another concept yet. And try to do this so that you are not bound or limited in that space of creating instantaneous art or art for instantaneous gratification. As much time as it takes to become a great artist, it takes as much time relatively to come up with great concepts. They could come in a flash, they could take longer, but all I'm trying to say is just spend time in thinking about your idea, right? Give it time. Give it time that it's due. and you never know what can come up, what can come out of this. So I hope you enjoyed this monologue of me talking about my personal creative art idea process, and I hope it's helped you out. Leave a comment down below if there's anything that I've missed or anything you'd want to know more. And as I take this video from ink to painting on Photoshop, I'll try to include those things as well. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy the next monologue. So I already did the pencil sketch, and then I did the inking. I started off with this guy. I think it's just a normal, I don't even know what it is, but it's a Uniball Impact. It's one of those pens that just does ink, but some of the lines were too thick, so it worked really well on the borders, and I might just go again around the borders, making it thicker. And then I went and got these pens. They're the same company, actually. So I got 3 fine liners, and then I went over it with 3 different sizes. There's a 0.3, there is a 0.5, and there is a 0.1. So far, this is a complete inked sketch. Where is my trusted pointy? Oh, there you are. So there's the hoodie. Oh, I was trying to do a little fancy flip. Come on. There we go. There's the hoodie with the animal eyes. I put different layers of hoodies just to show like how he has evolved over time. Each little mouth represents an evolution. It's like a cocoon. And then there is a spray can that he's holding, which represents a tool, as in he does use spray paint sometimes. I think his favorite is teal, but also as artwork. Like he does have spray cans on his website where he converts them into art, so he puts art on them. And I added a few characters within the image, so if you look through his art, you can notice things like this smiley face here. This is part of an illustration he made for a drink in Japan called sake. If you flip this upside down, it's one of his characters. There is this guy called Jimbo, this name here, this character that's in the can. It's a character that he does Squarespace promotions with. There's a few other characters. There's these characters that he calls instigators. He usually has like 3 instigators. So I put an instigator here, I put an instigator over here, I put another instigator over here, and there's one more instigator that I'm just gonna leave for you 1000 fans. You probably figure out where he is. And then there's another character that he does called Lil Chabo. He's a rapper. Lil Chabo has a tattoo on his eye, so I put Chabo here. Another thing that I found out that he liked was his favorite anime, Tekken Kinkreet. I hope I've said that correctly. And in Tekken Kinkreet, one of the characters has a scar across his eye and a little scar on the side of his cheek. If you look at 1000's characters, he does put patterns on the face, so I thought this would be an interesting addition to his face relative to his favorite anime. And then there's a favorite attire, or the 1000 uniform. So you can't really see it now, but when I color this in, hopefully it'll come through. There is the teal t-shirt. Then there's an interesting type of shirt, patterned shirt or print shirts. That's the second one. And then there is the classic denim jacket. Obviously there's the hoodie. So half of this is the hoodie, half of it is the denim jacket, representing different things about his life as well. So there's the ring to represent his wife, because she's also a big part of the channel. And then he recently had a kid, so I put this cheeky little milk bottle here. He's spoken about his love for Japan, so I put in this samurai-ish sword, but it's actually the handle for his mural painting, a roller brush, and it's like he's a mural warrior of sorts. I like embedded the essence of a warrior with the essence of the artist, like his warrior in the sense of his missions are all these murals he goes on to, all his creative journeys, and he likes art that tells a story. So hopefully this does say something. What else? Oh, there's this guy here, Gesso. If you look through his channels, he likes to rap about Gesso when he's preparing paintings. He's always like making little raps about Gesso. So, and then I put in the YouTube play button because he's a big time YouTuber as well. So he has a passport because he travels. He has this thing where he's trying to have a mural in each continent, and one of the continents that he really wants to go to is Antarctica. He wants to be like the first artist there. So he has tickets that say Antarctica, and he's on his way. He's on a journey to go and like spray paint a mural or paint a mural up in Antarctica. He's got his brush, it's gesso, his roller brush, spray paint. Who knows what's in that bag? And then I put a mic here, a recording mic, because he has a background in music and he just does these crazy raps and he makes crazy beats. There's a mic here that he records, but it's part of his clothes. So like the string from his hoodie is actually the cable for his mic, but it's also like plugged into his ear. So as he's the source of the music that he's making, what he's recording, like it's coming out of his brain. It's also a part of him, like it's all part of making the illustration come together. This arrow here, right? So this arrow is meant to be coming from his heart, but it's gone through his spray paint. So it's an arrow through the heart and also an arrow through the art, like his love for art. This is what these arrows sort of represent. Like
into the spray paint and out of his heart, like just his love for art and stuff like that. Maybe even the fact that art saved his life, so it could be like, oh, got that arrow with his art, and he talks about this in one of his videos. And then last but not least is this logo here. It's a logo for a company that makes acrylic paints. If you watch his videos, you will know what I mean. He's been using these paints for so long, and he always jokes about having the company sponsor him. And if you ever have watched any of the Formula One races or that type of thing, you know the drivers usually have all these labels on their jackets and stuff. So I thought, because the labels of people who sponsor them, so I was like, I'm just gonna add it just as a cheeky little move. This is also his logo, 1000. This here is a part of his shop called Statics. Most of these, if you follow him, you'll recognize most of these shapes, especially when I add color to them.